The alarm woke Dr. Helena Vasquez at 0347 ship time. As Chief Science Officer aboard the survey vessel Pathfinder, she'd learned to distinguish between routine alerts and something genuinely wrong. This sound-sharp insistent, and accompanied by her cabin lights flashing red, was definitely the latter. She reached the bridge within 90 seconds, still pulling on her uniform jacket. Captain Rodriguez was already there, staring at the main view screen with an expression that made Helena's blood run cold. "Talk to me," she said. "We dropped out of FTL at the Meridian system 10 minutes ago," Rodriguez replied, his voice hollow. "Standard supply run. Population, 150,000, mostly agricultural specialists and their families." He gestured at the screen. "Look." Helena looked. For a moment, her brain couldn't process what she was seeing, or rather, what she wasn't seeing. The third planet, Meridian, simply wasn't there. Not destroyed, not shattered into asteroids. Just absent. Empty space where a living world should have been. Sensor malfunction? She whispered, already knowing the answer. "We've run diagnostics 6 times. Everything checks out. Gravitational measurements confirm there's no planetary mass where Meridian should be. No debris field, no radiation signature, no heat bloom. It's like someone reached into reality and deleted it." Rodriguez turned to face her. "Helena, what the hell can do that?" She had no answer. Nothing in humanity's 3 centuries of space exploration. Nothing in their contact with the handful of peaceful alien species they'd encountered had prepared them for this. "Get me a quantum-level scan of the orbital path," Helena ordered, her scientist's mind grasping for explanations. "If something moved the planet, there will be traces. Tachyon particles, gravitational echoes, something." The scans took 40 minutes. What they revealed was worse than Helena had imagined. "Captain," she said carefully, pulling up the data on the main screen, "there's a quantum signature here. Artificially generated, highly sophisticated. Whatever erased Meridian wasn't a natural phenomenon. It was a weapon." The bridge fell silent, except for the soft hum of life support systems. "A weapon," Rodriguez repeated slowly. "Someone deliberately erased an entire colony. 150,000 civilians. Gone without a trace." His hands clenched into fists. "Who? And why?" "I don't know who, but I might know why." Helena pulled up long-range sensor data. 3 weeks ago, we detected unusual energy patterns from a region beyond the outer rim sector 447. Our analysts flagged it as potentially artificial, but non-threatening. We logged it and moved on. She highlighted the pattern. "Look at the signature. It's nearly identical to what we're seeing here. You're saying whoever did this has been watching us. More than watching. Testing us, maybe? Or sending a message." Helena met his eyes. "Captain, I recommend we return to Earth immediately. Fleet Command needs to see this." The journey back to Earth took 6 days at maximum FTL. In that time, the Pathfinder's discovery spread through quantum relay communications across every human colony, station, and outpost in known space. By the time they reached orbit, humanity was in crisis. Helena found herself in the Joint Command Center in Geneva, standing before a room full of admirals, politicians, and scientists. On the screens surrounding them, representatives from Mars, Titan, Europa, and 30 other worlds watched via real-time link. Fleet Admiral Saran Como, a woman whose decorated military career had been spent managing piracy and asteroid mining disputes. Nothing like this gestured for Helena to begin. "Show them," she said simply. Helena played the recordings. The empty space where Meridian had been. The quantum signatures. The correlation with the unknown sector. When she finished, the chamber erupted in overlapping voices: shock, grief, anger, and fear mixing into chaos. Secretary General Dmitry Volkov raised his hand for silence. Dr. Vasquez, in your professional opinion, was this an attack? Yes, sir. Absolutely. Could it have been an accident? Some experiment gone wrong? No, sir. The precision required to remove an entire planet from existence without affecting neighboring celestial bodies? That's targeted action. Intentional. A voice from the Mars feed cut in Governor Chun, whose daughter had been a teacher on Meridian. Then who did this? What do they want? Helena was about to admit she didn't know when another alarm sounded. A technician at a side console looked up, face pale. Ma'am, we're receiving a transmission. Unknown origin, unknown language. It's being broadcast on all frequencies simultaneously. Put it through, Admiral Nkomo ordered. The screens filled with an alien face unlike anything humanity had encountered. Elongated skull, 4 eyes arranged vertically, skin that seemed to shift between blue and deep purple. When it spoke, the translation algorithm struggled for a moment before rendering the words. Attention, human collective. I am Overseer Calvin of the Velthoran Compact. Your colony-designated Meridian has been removed as part of our established cleansing protocols. Your species has expanded too rapidly and too aggressively into regions we have marked for preservation. This action serves as demonstration and warning. Cease your expansion beyond your current borders, or additional cleansing will be necessary. You have 30 of your days to comply. This message will not be repeated. The transmission ended. For 10 seconds nobody spoke. Then the room exploded. Cleansing protocol? Governor Chun's voice shook with rage. They murdered 150,000 people and call it a protocol? We need to respond, someone shouted. With what? Another voice countered. They can erase planets. What do we have that can fight that? Admiral Nkomo's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. Everyone, quiet. She waited until silence returned. Dr. Vasquez, do we have any intelligence on this Velthoran compact? Helena pulled up her tablet, hands shaking slightly. Limited, ma'am. Cross-referencing the name with our xenolinguistic databases ... here. The Pelcaria, species we encountered 15 years ago, mentioned the Velthorans once. They called them the Gardeners, species that believed they had the right to prune the galaxy of what they considered weeds. And are we weeds to them? Volkov asked quietly. Apparently so, sir. The Secretary General stood. Then we have a decision to make. Do we retreat to our current borders and accept their terms? Or do we? We fight, said Admiral Nkomo flatly. Sir, with respect, if we show weakness now, we're dead anyway. Species that erase populated worlds don't leave loose ends. They'll wait until we're complacent, then finish the job. Fight with what? Volkov demanded. We're explorers, scientists, colonists. Our fleet consists of patrol vessels and cargo ships. We haven't fought a real war in over a century. Then we learn, said a new voice. Everyone turned. At the back of the room stood General Marcus Hayes, retired military strategist who'd been recalled from his teaching position for this emergency. He walked slowly to the front, his cane tapping against the floor. Our ancestors didn't start as warriors either, Hayes said. They were prey animals who learned to make tools. Farmers who learned to defend their crops. Civilians who became soldiers when they had no choice. He planted his cane firmly. We have 30 days. We have 150,000 reasons for revenge. And we have something these Velthorans don't expect. What's that? Admiral Nkomo asked. Asterisk Hayes smiled grimly. They think we're soft because we're peaceful. They don't understand that humans aren't peaceful because we're weak. We're peaceful because we choose to be. They just took that choice away. He looked around the room. 30 days isn't much time, but I guarantee you, It's enough to make them regret their demonstration. Secretary General Volkov took a deep breath. Admiral Nagomo, you have authorization to mobilize every resource at your disposal. General Hayes, you're back on active duty as of now. Everyone else, we have work to do. As the meeting dissolved into urgent planning sessions, Helena stood by the window, looking up at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Velthorans were watching, confident in their superiority. They had no idea what they'd awakened. 6 months had passed since the Velthoran ultimatum, and the galaxy had changed. Commander Jake Morrison gripped the arms of his command chair as the newly commissioned warship Retribution hung in the darkness beyond Colony Haven's edge, the newest and most remote human settlement. Around him, his bridge crew worked in focused silence, men and women who'd been cargo pilots, station engineers, and research scientists just months ago. Now they were warriors. Status? Jake asked quietly. Asterisk. All stealth systems active, replied his tactical officer, Lieutenant Yuki Tanaka. Quantum dampeners online. To any external scan, or just cosmic background radiation. Fleet positions? All 47 ships holding formation, 3 light minutes out. They're invisible and waiting. Jake nodded. Project Prometheus had been the fastest military buildup in human history. Every shipyard, every manufacturing facility, every research station had been converted to a single purpose: survival. But they'd done more than just build weapons. The Pelcari grateful for humanity's past. Assistance with a plague that nearly destroyed them had provided something precious: intelligence. The Velthorans weren't invincible. Their erasure weapons required massive energy buildup, making them detectable. They were arrogant, having faced no real resistance in centuries. And most importantly, they had a pattern. Captain, the sensor officer called out. Quantum fluctuations detected at the system's edge. It's them. 3 Velthoran warships materialized in orbit around Haven's edge. Massive, crystalline structures that seemed to bend light around them. Beautiful and terrible. Jake watched as they took up position around the colony. 20,000 people down there. Families, children, scientists who'd volunteered to be bait, knowing the risk. Erasure weapon charging, Tanaka reported. Energy signature building. Estimate 4 minutes until firing. Let them charge, Jake said coldly. We want them committed. The minutes crawled past. On his screen, Jake could see the colony's shields worthless against erasure weapons, but necessary for appearances flickering to life. The Velthorans would interpret it as panic, desperation. They'd be wrong. 3 minutes, Tanaka counted. 2 minutes. 90 seconds. Signal the fleet, Jake ordered. Execute Prometheus. Space erupted. 47 warships dropped their stealth. Systems simultaneously, quantum drives blazing as they materialized in perfect attack formation around the Velthoran vessels. The aliens never saw it coming. The first volley was pure human ingenuity railguns, firing rounds at a significant fraction of light speed, each one guided by AI systems that had spent months studying Pelcari intelligence data. The kinetic impacts shattered the Velthoran's crystalline hulls, sending fractures spider webbing across their surfaces. But the real weapon was something else entirely. Fire the disruptors, Jake commanded. The Retribution unleashed a beam of focused quantum energy reverse engineered from Velthoran, technology salvaged from the Meridian site and improved by desperate human ingenuity. The beam punched through dimensions, targeting the erasure weapon's power core. The effect was immediate and catastrophic. The Velthoran ship's erasure weapon, already charged and ready to fire, collapsed inward. Energy meant to remove a planet from reality had nowhere to go. The ship simply ceased to exist. Direct hit, Tanaka shouted. Enemy vessel 1 destroyed. The remaining 2 Velthoran ships tried to retreat, But humanity had learned from Admiral Nelson, from Sun Tzu, from every military genius in their bloody history. The fleet had positioned themselves perfectly, cutting off escape routes. The second ship fell to concentrated railgun fire. The third managed to get off a distress call before the Retribution's sister ship, Vengeance, crippled its engines with a precision missile strike. "Cease fire," Jake ordered. "Boarding teams, you're clear." 12 hours later, Jake stood in the Retribution's interrogation room, facing a captured Vel Thorin. Overseer Calvin himself, according to the identification protocols. "You cannot win," Calvin said through the translator. "We have hundreds of ships, thousands of worlds. You have what? 50 vessels? You are insects pretending to be predators." Jake smiled without humor. "Insects, huh? Let me tell you something about Earth insects. There's a species called army ants. Individually, they're weak. But in a swarm, they can take down prey thousands of times their size. They adapt. They overwhelm. They never, ever stop." He leaned forward. "You erased Meridian thinking we'd roll over. Instead, you showed us what we needed to fear. And humans, when we're afraid, we don't freeze. We fight. That's how we survived ice ages, predators, plagues, and our own self-destructive tendencies for hundreds of thousands of years. This changes nothing," Calvin insisted. "More ships will come. Let them." Jake gestured to the view screen, which showed the fleet. "See those ships? 6 months ago, they didn't exist. Our entire military was museum pieces and patrol craft. You know what we've built in 6 months? Now imagine what we'll build in 6 years. 6 decades." He pulled up a holographic display. "Your distress call went out before we captured you. We didn't stop it. We wanted your people to hear it. We wanted them to know that the humans fought back, that we won, that we're coming." Calvin's 4 eyes widened. "You would invade our space? Commit the same atrocities you accuse us of?" "No," Jake said firmly. "We're not you. We don't erase civilizations. But we will find every Vel Thorin military installation, and we will dismantle them. We will find every erasure weapon, and we will destroy them. And we will make sure every species in this galaxy knows what happens when you murder human children." The war lasted 8 months. By human standards, it was the fastest and most decisive military campaign in history. By galactic standards, it was a nightmare, a species thought to be peaceful prey transforming into apex predators overnight. The Vel Thorin Compact learned what humanity's own ancestors had learned millennia ago. Technological superiority means nothing against enemies who adapt faster than you can respond. Human fleets appeared everywhere at once, using quantum tactics that made their vessels impossible to track. They reverse-engineered Vel Thorin shields within weeks and nullified them within months. They turned the aliens' own erasure technology into defensive barriers that made human colonies untouchable. And they were merciless. Not cruel humanity had learned the difference between justice and vengeance. They took prisoners, offered surrender, and avoided civilian casualties. But they also never stopped, never slowed, never gave the Vel Thorins a moment to regroup. Admiral Como herself led the final assault on the Vel Thorin homeworld. Standing on the bridge of the flagship New Dawn, she broadcast a message that would echo across the galaxy. "People of the Vel Thorin Compact, this is Fleet Admiral Saran Como of the Human Defense Forces. We are here not to erase you, but to ensure you can never erase anyone else. Surrender your erasure weapons. Submit to galactic oversight. Learn to coexist rather than cleanse." She paused. "Or learn what happens when you awaken a sleeping giant." They surrendered within the hour. Asterisk.